Hello, welcome to the Rooted Souls podcast. My name is Becca Spirit and I will be your hostess. Here I am offering you talks on spirituality and self-development that bring you back down to earth. Bridging the gap between ethereal ideas and mindful realism. These talks illuminate the magic in the mundane and facilitate discernment in the far out for a life rooted in wisdom. This podcast is for conscious seekers who are just opening up to spirituality and personal growth, or those of you who've been on that journey for a while and you're realizing that things just are not what they seemed at first, or for those who are anywhere in between. I am so glad you're here. I invite you to either take a walk or sit down and relax with something nice and warm to drink, and just let this wash over you. Take what resonates, leave the rest, and just know that this is my gift to you. I hope that it serves you. I am so glad you're here, and I hope that you enjoy the show. Today, we are talking about one of my favorite topics, essential oils. So essential oils have become all the rage these days, but not everyone really understands what they are or how to safely get them. So essential oils have been used for thousands of years in all ancient cultures. And the essential oil is actually the part of the plant that is vital to the plant. That's why it's called essential. So it helps the plant stay protected from environmental threats and keep itself healthy. And it can also do that for us too. So the most famous part of the essential oil is its fragrance. So we know them as fragrant products, but they also have so many medicinal compounds and they come from different parts of the plant. So essential oils can be derived from resins, seeds, bark, stems, flowers. And we'll talk more about that today. And I have my best friend here with me today to go over it. She's an expert in the field of using essential oils, and I am an expert in a particular brand, dōTERRA essential oils. So I'm going to introduce Natalie before we get started. She is a licensed massage therapist, holistic esthetician, and certified Ayurvedic counselor. A graduate of the New Hampshire Institute for Therapeutic Arts in 2001, Natalie has since continued to receive extensive education in therapeutic massage and bodywork, holistic skincare, Ayurveda, and yoga. She not only practices these personally, but also instructs other practitioners to learn these body alignment principles. Drawing upon almost 2 decades of extensive study, clinical experience, and education, Natalie is a true expert in the field of massage, skincare, and holistic health. What makes Natalie so unique, and what I know firsthand, is her strong and caring therapeutic presence that allows her to skillfully and precisely intuit what her clients need while providing highly customized and effective treatments. She currently lives in Randolph, Massachusetts with her partner PJ and their young children, Tulsi and Ryland. She loves children, animals, nature, music, dance, art, film, laughter, travel, and spontaneous adventure of every flavor. She believes in kindness, forgiveness, and courageous, unapologetic, loving self-acceptance for oneself and for all people. And she is my very best friend. And it's such an honor and privilege to have her here to talk about essential oils with me today. So welcome, Natalie.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Becca, my very, very bestie. I'm actually putting my balance on right now as we speak.
That's the intro oil for Nat. I can't wait to hear you share that story. But yeah, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay. So, essential oils. Yes, I think I have a pretty close and intimate experiential relationship with essential oils. Not necessarily one to bury my head in books and only read about the science of the oils. I very much like to use and learn about things from an experiential perspective and create and make my own relationship with something. That usually helps me more so than reading. I like to do that combination. So yeah, I've been using essential oils for about 25 years, both personally and professionally. I think I started using them when I was in massage therapy school, and experiencing some personal anxiety. And at this time, I was probably, I don't know, I think I was maybe about 20, and just going through a lot of transitional phases. And so when I was practicing yoga, I just would start with using a little bit of lavender in the practice, and that really seemed to help. And then over the years, I've used them in my massage therapy practice for a variety of reasons. Um, Two main ones: neurological, to calm the nervous system for myself and my clients and help create balance, and then also with pain management. So I've used single essential oils and also blends. Um, I have some go-tos, but basically I typically will intuit what I'm going to use that particular day. And I've also used essential oils a lot with my children, for a variety of things, but I would say sleep is the biggest one. When you have little ones, you really want to help them calm and sleep through the night. So I've used them for sleep. I have used them for like little topical issues like diaper rash or little rashes here and there. Um, I've used them in my household for a lot of cleaning things, absolutely cleaning. I'm rambling. I'm like,
You're doing great. So I think now I'm gonna shift over to give a little bit history of essential oils, since you
yeah.
talked about a few different ways we can use them. So historically, they've been used for aromatherapy, personal body care, for beauty, but also for healthcare practices. They were used traditionally for religious ceremonies, and you mentioned the neuro impacts that they have. So I have witnessed that it is helpful for getting into a more meditative state. But
Mhm.
also these items are sacred, and I'll talk a little bit more about why they're so labor intensive. Um, and then for food preparation, they can be used to season meals, and they're very, I've been through herb school. So using dried plant or plant made into a tincture or a balm is not the same potency as a doTERRA essential oil. But they were used historically and used, throughout the more recent years in folk medicine, but now there has been increasing scientific evidence and research done to show that the essential oils can be highly effective for all sorts of uses. And so one of the things that sets doTERRA apart, and I'll name a few, is the way that they source them. So I have a degree in sustainability, and so cultural integrity is very important to me. I wove that into my sustainability curriculum. I actually called it environmental and cultural sustainability in my self-titled degree. And so fair trade production was very important to me. And when I found doTERRA, what blew me away about them was not only their integrity with the purity of the oils, but the way that they collect the oils. So they work all over the world. I think we're up to 45 different countries now. And they choose the location based on where is the plant native. So where is the chemical profile of the plant most potent and thriving, but also what communities can doTERRA build long-lasting relationships with. So when doTERRA enters a community, they're not just looking for the plant, they're looking for the people. Who can they partner with? Who can they enhance the lifestyle comfort with? So doTERRA gives back in ways of building hospitals and schools, helping people get microloans to start their own businesses. I remember one story about them helping a woman start her own bakery. They're very passionate about improving the communities that they enter into. And that blew me away. Having studied fair trade production, it was really about creating collectives and getting fair wages and also treating the environment well. But doTERRA goes above and beyond the fair trade certification standard. So that really touched me. And then is the way that they work with the plants. So depending on what environment the plant is in, there's going to be a different cycle for the most potent harvesting period. And for a lot of the communities dōTERRA works with, these people had been stuck in the perfume industry trade. And what happens with the perfume industry is the producers want cheaply produced, fast produced essential oil. And what this forces the people, the farmers, to do is to farm in a way that's not good for the environment. So monocropping and, using chemicals and synthetics to get the plants to grow as quickly as possible. And then they're not getting paid well. So they're stuck in, this labor intensive, basically slavery to these perfume companies. So dōTERRA is passionate about freeing people from that cycle and re-educating them about their own indigenous farming practices and getting them to work more in harmony with the environment. So that was really exciting to me. And then dōTERRA recognized that there was no standard in the industry for making sure that oils are safe and that there's consistent potency among them. So before I hand it over to you, I just want to quickly go over that, people are wanting essential oils these days, and they're able to get them at Whole Foods and Target and Walmart and TJ Maxx and all over the internet. And so there's a range of essential oil purity and potency. And so there's therapeutic grade, there is culinary grade, there is perfume grade, and then there is what dōTERRA really sets them apart, is this high quality therapeutic grade. And so the difference is that dōTERRA doesn't use any chemical solvents. So it's only steam distilled. So only water goes into the plant and comes out. And the oils are never heated above a temperature that would kill their raw chemical profile. So it keeps it basically at the same profile that you get from the plant itself. And with the cheaper companies, they're using high heat or they're using chemicals to get the oil out. They're not looking at the cycle of the growing season. And then after they get the oil, they might be adding carrier oils to it or other chemical stabilizers. And the industry has no governing body that controls the labeling. So as long as there is essential oil in the bottle, they can write 100% pure essential oil, and they do. So anything you get from the store is gonna say 100% pure essential oil on it. It's a marketing tactic. And the red flag that you can see is on the back. There's going to be a warning for topical use only, for aromatic use only. And what that's telling you is there's something else in the bottle that's not safe to ingest. Now, not all oils are from plants that you want to eat. So those aren't going to be ingestible, but most plants like lavender, peppermint, vanilla, which is an absolute, not an essential oil, is safe to eat. So if you see on the back, it say just for aromatic use, for example, peppermint, there's something else in that bottle. So that's a telltale sign. And on dōTERRA's bottles, there isn't only a nutrition label to let you know how to use it, but there's a code, a number that you can go to their sourcetoyou.com website, type it in, and get the test results for that specific bottle to know what contaminants they looked for, whether it's heavy metals, pesticides, molds, funguses that could have occurred during the processing. And so when looking for a company to get essential oils, safety is super important. And you want to know, where are they getting the oils from? What are the farming practices? How are they producing the oils? And then are they testing them? And are those results public for you to see? So just a couple things to keep in mind. And I know that after working with essential oils for over 2 decades, when you met me and I offered you some essential oils, you could smell the difference. So I'd love you to share your story and how working with dōTERRA oils has been so different from decades of using other oils.
Yeah, I think prior to using dōTERRA, like you had mentioned, I would purchase my oils at the store. Most of my oils were purchased from actually Cambridge Naturals, and then also at Kripalu, I purchased essential oils, mostly from Floracopia at the time, which I thought were lovely. But the oils that I was purchasing at Cambridge Naturals were the Oracacia oils. which is like the most popular brand. And while I thought that they were very lovely, and enjoyable to use, they certainly didn't have the same potency in the affect that one would want to expect if you're going to use it in a therapeutic way. For me, trying the dōTERRA essential oil balance from you the day that we met to talk about essential oils was a complete shift and turning point in what I recognized they were able to do. So, you and I had met, and I had just had my daughter, and I was going through a significant amount of postpartum depression. And I was in my first week back to work as a hands-on practitioner of massage and aesthetics. And I was just feeling kind of overwhelmed and fatigued and flooded with hormones. And you had given me some dōTERRA balance oil, which I use faithfully for myself and my clients now. I put a couple drops on my pulse points on my wrist and behind my ears. And literally within an hour, I noticed a very major shift around how calm and warm and relaxed I felt. Everything that kind of felt a buzz and sort of imbalanced in my system. And I wasn't expecting this. So it was just sort of a super surprise. But all of a sudden I realized, oh my goodness, I feel so relaxed. I feel like myself in this moment. And I was really able to have an amazing day and just work much more kind of in the pocket and in the groove of who I am that day, which was amazing. And ever since, I only purchased dōTERRA and have used them in a variety of ways. So balance is my number one that I always go to.
Yeah, balance was really profound for me too. And it has such a different smell, and it's one of the smells I never get sick of. So
Yeah.
I've noticed that, some oils I don't like the smell of, but after I've experienced using it and the effect is so profound, all of a sudden I like it now. And so there's kind of this ebb and flow sometimes with different scents.
Yeah.
And balance is just like consistently delicious, and men and women love it. It has kind of a very neutral smell around it. It's not too floral. It's not too woody. It doesn't feel like a perfume.
Not at all.
It's just this amazing full bodied scent of calm. I don't know how else to put it. And
Yeah.
you don't eat it. This isn't an edible one.
No.
But it feels so supportive. And I want to come back to talking about choosing essential oils and my own story of healing with them as well. But before we go on, I just want to mention what you shared about Cambridge Naturals. So Cambridge Naturals is such a high quality company, and they have so much integrity. And with essential oils, for some reason, it's so underground, this knowledge about purity. And I don't know what that is, because, I know a lot of farmers and herbalists who make their own, and they care so much about the plant. And the difference between getting essential oil from a neighbor who's growing it organically and caring for it and hand harvesting it, and dōTERRA, who's like a big company and, we've got big equipment, is that purity and potency. So there's a value in making your own medicine. There's a value in getting it from somebody you care about or somebody you trust, but there might be mold in it, or it's definitely not going to have consistency in dose, drop to drop. So you don't want to use that as a medicine or give it to your kid when you actually don't know exactly what's in the bottle. Mm-hmm. So there's this value of having homemade stuff or making and growing stuff yourself, but it's not going to be, as effective or as safe as a doTERRA oil. So I'm not telling people don't go make this stuff or don't go use this stuff, but if you have, you know, a wound to treat or an emotional imbalance to treat, you're going to want to use something that you know the dose of, you know what's in the bottle, and you can measure it. And there's 3 ways to use essential oils, doTERRA oils: topically, so on your skin, you know, if you get a sore muscle or a bug bite; internally, many of the oils you can swallow safely, and there are ways to do things safely. And one of the things I love about doTERRA is there's so many resources to educate people that are free and available. And I'm going to link some of those in the episode description. And then aromatically. So when you go to the doctor and get surgery, they administer the anesthesia through aroma, through inhalation, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is because the fastest way to get something in your bloodstream is to inhale it. So it's so important to, you know, recognize what you're putting on your body, what you're eating, you know, and putting in your body, but also what are you inhaling? And so, you know, in 2007 to 2010, I was working as a sustainability consultant, you know, helping people understand what's safe to use for products and in their home. So I've been looking at this stuff for over 15 years, and still I don't know of a more safe and pure product than doTERRA. But within 26 seconds, I think, of inhaling something, it can be in all cells of your blood. So it's very important to recognize what you're inhaling. So even if those less pure bottles from Walmart is saying for aromatic use only, you're still getting it in your body. So it's not just safe because you're not eating it. And doTERRA, I think they've, you know, when I first started using them, they did 7 different tests, 3 different times. So they would test at the source of harvest. They would test the oil after they've done the first distillation, and then they'd test it again before they bottled it and shipped it out to the customer. And there were a few times over the years I've been with doTERRA that either there's too much rain that season, or for some reason the potency was off, and they wouldn't sell it. So they really do stick by these standards very strictly. And at the time they were doing 21 tests on every liter of oil. Now, checking their website, they run over 176 analyses of a single oil. And you can see those tests with the batch number on your bottle. So it's super thorough, and it's super transparent and available to the customer. But back to what you shared about the way balance impacted you. I had a handicap placard all through college. I had severe fibromyalgia and pain, and I decided to become a health coach to try to understand what I could do to feel better and to heal my body, because I wasn't getting those answers from my doctors. And they had tried pain medications, and I was on sleeping meds, and, you know, I dabbled with things, and finally decided I was going to do things all naturally and go with food and nutrition and supplements. And I did that for years and still had this pain.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until doTERRA Deep Blue, they have a rub and an oil, that somebody had sent it to me in the mail, and I put it on, and overnight this, what they called repetitive stress syndrome in my arms, disappeared overnight. And I had been to physical therapy, massage therapy, for years. I think 2 years I had this pain, and it was gone overnight. And
did it return, Becca, or did you have to use the essential oil on a regular basis?
It did not return. And the pain has since come and gone depending on what I'm doing. So in a physical body, like when you use it and you've got health, you know, things like I do, I respond very sensitively to outside stimuli. So if I lift weights or I carry some heavy shopping bags, I might have a reaction, and then the oils are helpful for that. But this consistent pain that nothing would help was gone overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also was taking sleeping medication at the time. I was living in California. My mom was going through chemotherapy back in Massachusetts. I couldn't sleep. My functional medicine doctor said, I know you want to do things all naturally, but if you're not sleeping, you're going to destroy your health. And I tried the Serenity blend through doTERRA. And I remember having the bottle of pills next to my bed and kind of with a chip on my shoulder saying, if I'm not asleep in 5 minutes, I'm taking the Xanax. And I put 2 drops on the bottom of each foot, like my
Mhm.
dōTERRA representative had taught me. I
Mhm.
rubbed the rest on my wrists and my chest and the pillow just from the vapor left over, and I was asleep within 5 minutes. And I
Mhm.
never took a sleeping pill again. So these oils are so near and dear to my heart because I had tried so many pharmaceuticals growing up, for attention deficit disorder, for depression, anxiety, sleep, and I, am still detoxing from all those pharmaceuticals. So if I can help one person choose a natural alternative that is good for the environment, good for social justice, and can help people be free of pharmaceuticals, which have a place, but oftentimes there's a natural remedy that's more effective and safer, then I want to do that. And so most people don't even know I sell dōTERRA essential oils because my primary practice is as a coach, but I
Mhm.
always keep these in my back pocket because I think of it as, my community service. If I'm not sharing this with people, I'm doing a
Mhm.
disservice. And I use it at home from my beauty care to my dental care, um, uh, cooking, bug repellent in the summer, cleaning, you name it. There's an essential oil for it. And every essential
Mhm.
oil has dozens of uses. And what I say with people is use it through trial and error. I can advise you what works for most people. If it doesn't work for you, it's done something good in your body, even if it hasn't hit the target goal. And
Mhm.
there's dozens of other ways you can use it. So money hasn't been wasted. And you know, I have an arsenal of oils. As long as they're kept in the dark and cool, they will last for years and years and years. And just to give one example, frankincense, people may have heard of it in the Bible. Frankincense and myrrh, very, kind of just rattling around in people's subconscious. If they're like, no, I've never heard of essential oil. Those are two, lavender, and then tea tree or melaleuca is very famous as well. Frankincense is one of my favorite, most versatile oils because it can be, dōTERRA's version can be taken internally and it supports the immune system, the nervous system, digestive system, and it aids in cellular health, cellular regeneration. So it's such a widely supportive oil. And I also love to use it if I've got a sore muscle or if I pulled something. And I'm not going to go into too many examples because we could be here for hours, but I just wanted to kind of paint a picture of how versatile they are. And let's see, where did I start rambling from? What were you talking about last? Oh, you were talking about
Oh,
Cambridge, the balance,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
um, yeah, so you and I both were introduced to blends first, and those are proprietary to dōTERRA. So those are unlike anything else I've found on the market. But the single oils are also potent in their own way. To sit with
Mhm.
the energy of one oil, I find really profound. I actually try to
Mhm.
stick to one oil at a time if I can,
Mhm.
because it's like getting to know a new friend.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
lavender, if you smell lavender or use lavender from dōTERRA versus one from the store, the results are totally different. Lavender is so amazing for burns. Like if you burn yourself and put lavender on it, you don't have like a mark the next day. It's
Mhm.
just so potent.
Do you just do like one drop of the pure lavender oil directly on the burn, or do you use a carrier oil to apply it?
Great question. I'm glad you brought up carrier oil. So because dōTERRA is so potent, and because it's expensive, some of them, you'll want to dilute it not only to save your money, but to spread it farther. So you only need one drop on most occasions. And so the carrier oil, and I like fractionated coconut oil the most that dōTERRA sells, but you can use olive oil or an unscented lotion. It has a few different purposes. So when you use an essential oil, it's very volatile. So it flashes very quickly, it evaporates really quickly. So if you put it into a carrier oil, it keeps it from evaporating and it
Mhm.
actually drives it through your epidermis, through your skin more
Mhm.
effectively, and it
Mhm.
can spread farther. So it actually doesn't dilute it. I'm using air quotes.
I see.
Um, so when you have a burn, you could put it directly on, or you could use a carrier oil. It won't make it less potent. I would
Yeah.
say do whatever is going to get it on fastest,
Yeah.
and then you can reapply as well.
Yeah.
when we're talking about essential oil safety, which is super important, and again, another reason I love doTERRA is how much education is available for the consumer. It's important to try things slowly, because even though you can't have an allergic reaction to the essential oil itself, your body could have a reaction to the medicine. So a doTERRA essential oil has no protein in it. It's been distilled. And when people have an allergic reaction, it's to the protein. So you can have a skin irritation, or like the body's like, that's very strong. And so it's important to start slow, especially if you have sensitive skin. Ironically, I have super sensitive skin, but I can tolerate doTERRA. And what I find is that people who say, oh, I'm allergic to fragrances, they've been allergic to synthetic fragrances, like, or allergy is not the right word, but they're reactive to synthetics. And then they use doTERRA and it's helpful. So, you know, reactions can show up like wheezing or trouble breathing, skin irritation, indigestion, or, you know, digestive system irritation. But it's usually because there's a toxic chemical. So people, I've found, everyone I've worked with, but I'm sure it's not across the board, doesn't react to doTERRA. And so to answer your original question, either. And when people are starting to use essential oils for the first time, diluting is the safest way to try it, because you can use less than one drop. So using less than one drop is still going to be effective and a lot less likely to create any discomfort. And then you can start to increase. Even if you get this one essential oil in your eye, which happened to me a couple weeks ago, it's uncomfortable, but it's not dangerous. And there's ways to speed up the discomfort removal. So I always encourage using that carrier oil. It will actually draw it out of your system. So I got peppermint in my eye. It felt very cold. I just rubbed some culinary coconut oil, because that was all that was available to me at the time, around the bone around my eye. And within seconds, the discomfort went away. So these tips and tricks are available to learn through ebooks and videos and all sorts of things. I'm going to link some resources in the episode description. And then also, anybody who hears this podcast and is curious about doTERRA, you can reach out to me through my website, beccaspirit.com. I'm happy to chat your ear off about it, or be as succinct as I can if you have a specific question. But back to you. Yeah, the burn, whatever works for you. Have you tried it?
Lavender on burns? I haven't tried lavender on burns. I haven't. You know what actually I did, which was as potent as the balance was for me, which was also a blend, which was the On Guard blend. I used it in a very unique way, which turned out to be really cool. So I had this beautiful old handmade wool rug, very large wool rug that had been rolled up in a basement for a couple of years. And so it did have that like dank mildewy smell. And when I moved to this house that I'm currently living at, I really wanted to use it in my living room, and I rolled it out, but it definitely was way too musty to have in the house, and musty enough to like kind of give me a headache. So I brought it outside, I rolled it out, and I put the On Guard in a spray bottle with some water, and I sprayed the entire rug with it front and back multiple times, and then would like wash it down a little bit, then spray it again, wash it down, vacuum it. And the On Guard completely transformed the rug. There was never again a single mustiness to it at all. And even with using like vinegar or those types of things to work with mold, the transformative quality, which I also used on that rug, but the transformative quality of the On Guard was mind blowing. And I didn't do it because someone told me to do that. I just thought, okay, I'm going to try this. And it was amazing.
I love that story. You know, something about using these oils feels like it is a birthright. And, you know, I think only America doesn't use these first, you know, plant-based things first. I think it's been taken away from our cultural heritage. And as people of the earth, why not use these gifts of the earth first? And so, I love that ancient wisdom running through you. You're like, no, I'm going to try this. And that's exactly what worked. And so the cool thing about the oils is there's really no risk, just, through trial and error, if you use them safely, there's no risk. And I've also found alternative uses for things. And I had a friend who, I think, gosh, I haven't talked to her in a year or two, but I think she had 6 children last time I checked, and she's used them with her pregnancies. And she tried everything for morning sickness, and she tried everything that was in the book, but then something told her to use lemon, and lemon oil worked for her. So it's so cool to be able to medicate yourself at home, or like, just dabble and feel like, wow, the empowerment of being able to take care of yourself and your family naturally and intuitively is so powerful. And there was one other thing you said, the rug. Oh yeah, just that you can use it for cleaning, like all these things you wouldn't consider using it for, but pets and children is safe. And so I've got some resources for using these oils on babies during pregnancy and on pets through experts who only use doTERRA. So what the doTERRA recommendation is. So I follow a veterinarian, a midwife. doTERRA has a medical advisory board in addition to all their scientists and molecular biologists and chemists. They've got so many eyes on these products so that there is this versatility and just thorough analysis of how they can be used and how to be used safely. So I'll also link some of those things, or if I forget anything or there's something that we've referred to that I don't have listed, please feel free again to reach out to me. But I've had luck with lemon on stains. And it's so cool to hear how you use the On Guard. On Guard, for those that don't know, is our immune support blend. So it kills 99.9% of bacteria and virus. And it's actually, if you look it up on PubMed, they did research with the influenza virus to show that in what is it called, in vitro, in a dish, that it destroys the flu. So I use On Guard if I've ever been exposed to somebody who might have something going on that I don't want to catch, or it's great for cleaning. When I used to travel, it's been a couple of years, but I would wipe down the airplane surfaces with On Guard spray, or now doTERRA, I used to make my own stuff, but now doTERRA makes spray hand sanitizer with On Guard. They make wipes that already have On Guard and rubbing alcohol just for the extra kick in the wipes. They make On Guard laundry detergent, which I use. I like unscented laundry detergent, but if there's something I need to get out, like it's a stank or a stain, I'll use the On Guard laundry detergent. And then my favorite, the On Guard toothpaste. And I had a dentist end up buying doTERRA from me because she was so impressed by the health of my teeth. And I just suggested the doTERRA toothpaste. And funnily enough, her sister is a pharmacist. And so the dentist told her sister about oils. And now they're selling them at a kind of a local pharmacy in Rhode Island because the pharmacist was so impressed with them. So, people in these medical fields regard them. And I think that they're becoming more and more widely recommended in hospitals and across the world. So, these products are growing in reputation and popularity. And my hope is that every home eventually will have access to, empower them to do things naturally.
That's amazing. And one last anecdote I wanted to share, which is probably to date my most profound personal use with oils, is with my mother, who has Alzheimer's. She has a very rapidly sorry, I'm very tired today, a very like rapidly, it's happening super fast, early onset Alzheimer's. She's only 64. She was visiting with me over Thanksgiving and had stayed for about a week. And one morning she woke up and she was very agitated, to the point where she was taking her clothes on and off over and over and over again because she couldn't find that comfort. She could not get comfortable. And there was like a lot of swearing, and she was getting very confused and very agitated. And I was like, oh gosh, I've got all these tools in my box. Hopefully one of them will help my mother right now. I'm, using some touch techniques. I'm using some meditation techniques, music, so on and so forth. And actually I was like, oh, essential oils. And at the time I looked in the variety of things that I had, and my mother, even prior to Alzheimer's, is actually a super, super, super highly sensitized, ultra picky person. So she dislikes most things because her senses are so overly sensitive, actually. But with Alzheimer's, it's even more intense. And so I looked in my array of essential oils and I'm like, okay, my mom's going to be, pretty sensitive to a lot of these things. So I just grabbed the Aroma Touch, which is the blend for the massage oil blend. That has that just lovely combination of energizing brightness, but also it's very grounding and relaxing at the same time, but creates like a nice clarity. And I just said, Mom, why don't you take a seat? I want you to smell this oil. And I just put it up to her nose and she smelled the oil.
Take your time.
And it was the one thing that, like, in the days that she had been to my house, the one thing that really helped her. It was the one thing. And so she was able to really calm back down and get a sense of cohesion in her experience for the first time in hours that day, find some comfort in her clothing and in her body, and feel some feelings in a more tolerable way. And even have some laughter after that, and just kind of created some nostalgic memories of the different essential oils that she loves and has used over the years prior to this happening. And so that was actually like a very profound experience.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that you had that with you and that she was able to have that experience.
She's been, seeing 5 specialists for 2 years, and none of the medications are working. And this just had a super fast, potent effect. And even if it didn't last all day, it certainly helped for a few hours in a way that I was surprised by how deeply it affected her.
What a reminder for me. Thank you, Nat.
Mm-hmm.
Johns Hopkins. I never actually followed up, but years ago when I first started using dōTERRA, I knew that they were using dōTERRA frankincense to do studies on Alzheimer's. So if you don't have a bottle, let me give you a bottle.
All right, thank you.
I know that they've continued to do research on anxiety with essential oils, depression, nausea, insomnia, appetite, dry mouth, like just a host of side effects. And they've confirmed that certain essential oils can kill a type of Lyme bacteria. So if Johns Hopkins is doing this research, like I really trust that. and I don't mean to derail the conversation from that incredible story you just shared. Yeah, very emotional. And let's talk more about other ways we can support her offline. Is there anything else that you want to share, Nat?
At the moment, no, but I have lots of things that I do want to share again in a future podcast.
Awesome. Well, I love that. I love that feedback. I would be happy to do endless episodes with you. I'm gonna wrap up here and let you dry your eyes and sit with that. And thank you again for sharing that story. There is so much more we can talk about in general, but about essential oils, and maybe we will. If anybody has any specific questions you guys have for us, maybe we'll record some more information. But I'm just going to leave you with that. This is a possibility for you to have access to these, and to please reach out to me if you'd like to explore that. And yeah, it's as easy as us getting on a quick phone call or email exchange and them getting shipped to your house, and you can get started right away. So thank you, Natalie, for gracing us with your wise presence. I love you so much. And you're such a wealth and resource of so many things to do with body, mind, spirit, heart. And I'm just so grateful for you.
I'm grateful for you as well. I feel the same.
All right. I'll talk to you next time.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you for listening and becoming part of this community. If you loved this episode, I invite you to subscribe, share with someone you think would appreciate it, or leave a review. This helps me to learn what resonates with you so I can deliver more of what you want and reach more people who can benefit from this content. If you want to reach me, please feel free to reach out on my website, www.beccaspirit.com. I would love to hear from you, get any feedback, and know what's on your mind. Until next time, take great care.